Hello everyone, welcome back to my Devil May Cry 5 Dante Must Die S-Rank video walkthrough. This is mission 18, and if you've made it this far, well done, pat yourselves in the back because we're almost done. This is the home stretch. This is the last difficult mission of the game, the S-Rank. And I know saying that with Virgil still to go might be a bit preemptive, but Virgil is very easy to S-Rank once you kind of know how to like cheese it. Not really cheese it, to game the system. Now, in my opinion, the first fight against Griffin, I keep calling him Griffin, you need to dance. I'm sorry, it's possible to get the S rank without the dance because at the final, there's a final fight and there's a big final fight. But if you dance against Griffin, you almost guaranteed a great rank straight off the bat. In fact, the most I ever got, I think, was near 7,000 style points because I killed him on a triple S rank and got like 6,800 style points, which really set me up. Unfortunately, that was one of the attempts that actually failed because the problem is you can succeed as hard as you can on Griffin, but Shadow is obnoxious at points. Shadow's AI just doesn't play as fairly as Griffin does, and the Griffin can do some bullshit things, but Shadow is just not fun to fight in my opinion. And the funny thing is, see when you fight Nightmare, Griffin, and Shadow together, they're all fun to fight, and it's actually quite fair. And they don't usually attack you off screen. However, when you just fight them by themselves, for some reason, Shadow's a lot more inclined to attack you while he's not really on camera. And I know he can start an attack on camera, and because Shadow's combos are long, I think what happens is he's off camera, but then he moves into camera for a second, and he starts a combo while he's on camera, and then you turn away and look around, and because his combos last a long time, they hit you. But you can't see that, obviously. Now, what I'm doing here is, what I recommend doing, in fact, is try your best not to drop rank as much as possible, and by doing, now, the way you can do this is by dancing, using the round trip move with Devil's Sword Dante, getting Griffin down to the orb form right now, like what we're seeing. Real impact him once or twice, and then while he's off camera, shoot him. Because guns do massive damage to these creatures. Shadow in particular is very susceptible to getting shotgun blasts. Now what I'm going to do is skip these fights. Every fight, the only fights you want to fight are the mandatory ones, and the only mandatory fights in that mission are against Griffin, Shadow, Shadow and Griffin together, and then against the trio. Nightmare, Shadow and Griffin. And out of those four fights, I would say Shadow and Griffin are the hardest ones. You will drop rank the most on them fights because they're just so aggressive. Look, I got 5,600 stash points just for dancing against Griffin. So I would say it's your best bet. Now you can dance against Shadow, and what I'm trying to do is ram the camera right up Dante's ass and just stay there because Shadow usually doesn't attack while he's off camera. It's again in Devil May Cry games, enemies de-aggro when they're not on camera, which is a way to make the game more fair when you're fighting a crowd full of enemies. However, right now, Shadow is right up my ass, and he's not letting me get anything off right now. But once again, guns. I came back. I was getting very angry. This is the fourth attempt on this mission. I just wasn't having it. I was like, you know what? Let's try guns for a bit. I didn't think this attempt will work, so I was like, you know what? I'll fucking stick guns on. So as you just saw, Shadow attacked me off camera. But once again, he may have started to move on camera. I'm not too sure. So I was a bit angry, but I can kind of understand it. Once again, try dance because I really need to get this S rank. I need to get a decent rank in this fight. I don't need to do amazing. I just need to keep it over 5,000. And unfortunately, he hits me again. So Shadow is definitely my kryptonite on this encounter. But once again, I get a nice real impact, and I might boost myself up to S. Nope, unfortunately, I don't. But it's really just a lot of playing defensively, because when you fight creatures like this, who can tank through hits, and you're not really sure, because as you just saw, Shadow can backdash, and sometimes he'll backdash, and sometimes he won't. I don't know if you've mastered it. I'm sure you'll do fine, and I'm sure you'll have no problem with this mission, because this mission when the game came out was the mission to S rank. Was one of the hardest missions to S rank since the trio fight. It's tough. It's very tough encounter. And honestly, I don't think it's a very fun encounter. I think this mission is way too long once again. I think fighting the trio is very fun, but I don't think fighting these filler fights is very fun at all. He runs away, thankfully, and I finish him on a double S. We'll see the stash points. Look at the drop. under 5,000. So at the moment I'm losing. I cannot succeed with this bad of a style. So what I need to do is head into this next fight and just hope I can get the dance off. Now it's not all random, it's not. Just try and keep them off camera, and I guarantee you that in a few tries, if you take some advice and you understand that the dance, well, if you use the dance, people can do it without, and I've seen great guides of people doing it without. Just take some advice, use the dance. There's no shame in using the dance if you've got it. If you don't have it, you may need to make the fight slower and taunt them more. Taunt them more, keep the rank up and hit them more. Because I've noticed the longer the fight goes on, the more style points you can build. And yes, sometimes it is important to finish a fight quickly. But I would suggest if you don't want to use the dance or you don't have it unlocked, try and just take your time, round trip and taunt more. But by now on Dante Must Die, you should have at least 3 million stylish points, you know. Well, sorry, 3 million orbs, red orbs, between you for each of the characters' dances. And I even suggested getting Dante's, because Dante's is the most important in my opinion. Dante has the hardest missions Deus rank. So, again, once again, round trip with Swordmaster. Shadow and Griffin are coming at me right now. But so far they aren't being too aggressive. In this corner, they don't seem too bad. Once again, when Shadow's on camera, he can either attack you or he can dodge back. And thankfully he dodged back, he lets me get up the A rank. But however, once you hear that, the growl, that's when he's going to attack. And unfortunately, I had to jump off when I only was on A rank. But this and a real impact might get me up to S rank here. So yep, I'm on S rank. Unfortunately, the real impact misses, whiffs. So you see a lot of you haven't seen a lot of Cerberus play for me in this walkthrough, because coming back right on the game when you're not really that fresh on it, Cerberus is kind of a hard weapon to use effectively. It has so many modes and so many changes that using it to its full effect is kind of hard. And this is meant to be, I'm very experienced in the game for the first time. Well, for the first time in a while. And maybe someone, needs an S rank. Maybe an advanced player even is looking just for random videos and finds mine and gets one tip out of them. Or a new player follows the guide, by the letter. That's what's kind of meant for. It's not meant for, to show the most amazing gameplay skill. Because I have seen videos. And if you really want to make this mission super easy in the S rank, no problem. Use Dr. Faust. That's unfortunate. Go for the no damage and use Dr. Faust. Because you can shoot Dr. Faust while these guys are off camera and just rinse them in about 3 seconds. In fact, if you're going on hell and hell to do that, that's what I would advise you to. Because this fight will make you want to pull your hair out if you're going to take it completely seriously. On hell and hell. But more power to you if you want to, I respect that, someone who pushes themselves. But but I didn't think running in here and spamming Dr. Faust was going to help anyone, because yeah, I'm using the dance, which is 3 million orbs, but Dr. Faust will use way more than that. And I feel like it's almost, saying farm, and farming, in my opinion, is important. If you get the Dante Must Die and you don't have all the skills with all the characters, even if you don't use them, I would highly advise just having them in your back pocket. So go on mission 13, 3 warriors, use Dante and farm with the red hat. There's great videos on it, and I'm sure you'll be able to find at least one that suits you. Or, if whatever you do, cheat, whatever you want. I don't think farming currency in this game makes you a great player, but, whatever. Some people are very against cheating. Thankfully, at least I earned all my orbs. I only cheated in orbs once I had unlocked everything for every character, and I wanted to buy a few more devil breakers, I think. But at the moment, this is a non-cheated save, I believe, so I don't have any additional orbs, nothing like that. But I digress. So that fight went well. However, there's a few tips I can give here. I'm on 5,000 stash points, however, and this applies to this fight as well, which is why I kind of took that last fight laxity and didn't really speak about it, because this is the important fight, and in my opinion, always try and keep the round trip out. Try and keep the round trip going constantly. It will just give you constant style. It'll build constant value throughout the fight. Now, the problem here is Nightmare, as you can see, does not really abide by the rules of the game at the moment. I've noticed Nightmare breaks it more than anyone else, where he just attacks you off screen for no reason. However, when he first spawns in, he gives you a chance to do some very nice damage. And I would advise safe play and focus on what you can. While Nightmare's out, I advise, play sparingly, play safely. Don't get too cocky, don't get, too into it, because they can hurt you so fast. If Nightmare did the damage he did to me, to the enemies, I'd love Nightmare, but he just doesn't. If Nightmare was half as aggressive as he was to enemies as he was to me, I'd love him, but I just don't. Unfortunately here, you'll start to notice they really protect each other. The summons, once they go into the orb form, there is very little chance you actually end up hitting them with a real impact. However, there is one concession. They stay in the orb form for much longer. And there's the charge move that hit me off screen once again. So they stay in the orb form for much longer. Well, slightly longer. It's a noticeable increase in time. So you can get 2, maybe 3 real impacts off, as long as you keep the other one off camera. And this is what you want to do. I know I said, you may want to take this fight and, let it last for a while, because you want to build the style. And the longer the fight is, the bigger the style is. And also, the reason we broke down those trees, those red pus sacks, is because in this fight, it's something to do with the healing. I've always knocked them down. I believe it prevents Nightmare from using free heals. And it also allows us, if we break them, to heal. If Nightmare breaks them or we break them, it allows us to get nearly a full heal. In fact, Nightmare breaks this pillar next to me when I don't need it. In fact, I don't need it at any point throughout this fight. And actually, I advise you save STT for this fight, for this encounter, because there's not many opportunities, unfortunately, to really style on these what would you call them, summons separately. There he breaks it, I get a full heal, even though I was only 2 bars down. So just keep up the pressure, keep your royal impacts up, use Trickster. Royal Guard here definitely has its applications, however it's hard to use once again. So I would advise Swordmaster and Trickster. Gunslingers can be good, if you want to change it up a wee bit, mix the style up. And then once again, Griffin and Shadow are very, 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 susceptible to gunfire. And unfortunately I got caught there because Nightmare can pop out of the ground if you don't know. Which, in my opinion, is a bullshit attack which should not happen. There's probably a tail for it and I probably just missed it. But it killed me like once or twice, so I wasn't very happy. But what's going to happen is once we kill these orbs here, in fact the Devil Trigger now, so prepare for them to take a pounding. Just real impact, don't bother with all these fancy combos on them. I was just trying to get the triple S, but unfortunately Griffin comes in and hits me with the fork move. When the orbs actually are destroyed, what Nightmare will do is sacrifice his HP to regenerate his two companions. And this will, if you don't manage to, make good on, if you don't manage to take advantage of his weak points, he will just get health back constantly. Well, if you don't have these things, in check, if you don't have these red trees destroyed, he will gain health back. But he'll just keep reviving them over and over and over and over. And once he Devil Triggers, for some reason, his healing seems related to his HP, so it's taking health off him, but also healing his friends. So it's a confusing way it works, because it's not a flat amount. It decreases by 50% when he Devil Triggers. So I'm really trying to kill these, because watch the health it'll take off him, just to revive these two. And he doesn't actually revive these two at full health, which is great. But I'm going to real impact. Actually, no, I'm going to go into STT here, because I know I can lay down some fat damage on these boys. But watch for that. That will hurt. I have been one shot nearly by that, so watch yourself. There we are. We're really just piling the damage with STT, and we actually get the ender. Now that we don't really need it, but it's handy to have. In fact, I think I get hit coming out of this, so do use the ender with a grain of salt. In fact, use the STT with a grain of salt. Yep, I get hit right now. Yeah, but it's not too bad since it's just a whip move, so it doesn't do that much damage. But yeah, it's unfortunate that an SSS went right down to a D again, because, I got hit coming out of it. And also, something I haven't talked about, I have been using the double Catalina and Gunslinger move a lot more. Because I found that when people are off screen, it tracks very well. And when you want to keep the enemies off screen, like in a fight like this, it does so many hits, and it does actually decent damage, so it's a move you should. I've been sleeping on in this fight, so I really think that people should, maybe use it more. I'm sure people do. I'm sure I'm not the pioneer of finding out that this one move's very good. But right now, what's going to happen is, in fact, I think the tell for that is when Nightmare desummons, prepare for another attack from him. He hasn't just left the battlefield just yet. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to go back to shooting Catalina and Coyote A, Ebony and Ivory. This was a mistake. It kind of mixes it up and builds rank a wee bit, but it doesn't really do what I wanted, which was get out of dodge very quick, because Shadow was very kind to let me get up off the ground there. And I really just want to kill Griffin, because when they're by themselves, they're actually not that bad at all. It's just when they've got one covering them and one's right up the other one's ass and it just doesn't stop. That's when you've got problems. And I tend to ignore Griffin a lot more because Griffin seems a lot more passive than Shadow. And Shadow is one of the biggest threats on the field here. Even at times he's bigger threat than Nightmare. Because he can come in with the steel chair out of nowhere and just, ruin your combos. But now that Nightmare's coming in, you can actually hit these things. So what I would advise is wait a while until you know Nightmare's coming in. Build your Balrog up on that. Unfortunately, I do it too early and it de-ignites. But yeah, build it up on that. Thankfully, I managed to build it again before it goes away. Yep, there we are. Ignited again. And we're going to get another fat real impact off here. And we're going to get another one. Oh, I managed to hyper armor right through that. That was a scary moment. I'm really liking these real impacts. I managed to land quite a few of them. And right now, what's going to happen when his health is too low to heal his companions anymore? He's going to go into an orb form. And that orb form is their total HP pool. Attacking these guys will not do anything anymore. This guy and Nightmare will revive. In fact, I was worried. I was wondering where Nightmare was. And then I realized, oh shit, he's in orb form. So I'm going to ignore Shadow. Because they took another fat hit. As you can see, Shadow does not mess around on Dante Must Die. And I'm just going to focus this thing down. I'm going to real impact that thing. I'm going to real impact it twice. And that's going to finish the fight. There, I get my Devil Trigger back. I'm going to hyper armor through this. I don't even get a hit though. And I finished the fight with another real impact. And I was just so happy to get that off. Get that mission S ranked. But yes guys, thanks very much for watching. You're on the home stretch now, and there's only 2 missions left, and they're not that bad at all. It's a double Virgil fight, but I'm sure you guys will be fine. So guys, take care until the next video.